Welcome to Module 4 of the CPA Quantum Traffic course. Now, in the first three modules of the CPA Quantum Traffic course, I covered paid traffic methods such as pay-per-click, pay-per-view, and pay-per-text. In Module 4, I'm going to talk about search engine optimization and some of the basics of setting up a website in order to attract free traffic from all over the web, namely from search engines. Now, SEO traffic is all about getting free traffic from the major search engines, and the major search engines as of today are Google, Yahoo, and Bing. Now, one thing I want you to be aware of before you go out and you start building free SEO traffic sites to your CPA offers is that the traffic that comes from these free sites is not nearly as targeted as pay-per-click, but the huge benefit is it's still free traffic. Okay. And I want you to understand, because people get attracted to the allure of free traffic and not having to pay traffic, but when it comes to SEO traffic, this is not a quick traffic method, but rather a long-term process. I mean, in fact, it could take anywhere from 3 to 6 months just to work and get a top 10 ranking for a relevant keyword. Okay, it's not like pay-per-click traffic where it's instantaneous, where you can go out and you can start buying traffic literally within 10 minutes of setting up a campaign. It is something that requires a time investment, and you do have to wait over a longer period of time, much longer period of time, before you see any results from your efforts. And even then, there's no guarantee in 3 to 6 months that you're going to even get any decent ranking for whatever keywords you're trying to get ranked for, especially in a competitive market, and get any traffic at all. So, I mean, when it comes to free SEO traffic, I don't usually use it. I don't use it at all when it comes to CPA marketing. Most of the SEO traffic that I have gotten has been a complete fluke, believe it or not, and that's because with Google AdWords basically wants to see a whole silo-structured website where your landing page is residing on before they decide to give you a good quality score. And I'll talk about what a silo site is, so if you don't know what that is, don't worry about it. I will cover it in this particular module. And one of the things that I noticed was that by having to create these elaborate siloed sites with categories and deep linking just to please Google AdWords, this pleased Yahoo and Bing free search engines quite a bit, and ended up getting a high ranking on these search engines for free traffic. But like I said, my main focus is on paid traffic, because even though I got to pay for it, if I can get traffic within 5-10 minutes and make $2 for every $1 I'm spending, I'm going to keep doing that all day rather than investing my time into these free traffic methods. But with that being said, I mean, if you're on a tight budget, you don't mind going the free SEO route, and you're very patient to build out these websites, then by all means go ahead and do it, because once again, I mean, in 3 to 6 months, if you get a top 10 ranking for a very competitive keyword, that could possibly result in hundreds and thousands of visitors coming to your website and completing the CPA offers on that website, meaning that you're getting a lot of commissions without having to pay for any money. Now, if you've done any SEO marketing at all, then I'm sure you're well aware of the issues of the Google Panda, Google Penguin, and basically these are algorithm changes that Google makes over time that can have a major shakeup to your website rankings. One day you could be number 3, the next day you could be number 348. And that's the difference between with paid traffic, especially on pay-per-click search engines, is that generally your ranking is fairly steady as long as your bid is fairly consistent. But with free traffic, I mean, like I said, with the Panda and the Penguin updates, you could literally be thrown all over the place. And I know that can be frustrating for a lot of people, and I have a lot of associates in internet marketing that have to deal with a lot of these frustrations. And I've had a lot of friends who've even gone on, who have switched from paid traffic to the free traffic model, only to come back from the free traffic to the paid model because they simply couldn't deal with the issue. So even with the SEO method, even though the traffic is free, there is no guarantee that you're going to be able to maintain your rankings. Now, for one of the things, for the basic of starting with SEO traffic is creating websites. And I only recommend that you create websites for broad markets as CPA offers come and go. I would never ever create a website based on a specific CPA offer because if you've been doing CPA marketing for any long period of time, you know that let's see, your affiliate manager will send an email, they'll Skype you, because offers do come and go. They're taken down, they expire. Sometimes the advertiser wants to make changes to their back end, and you're forced to pause the offer for a while. So if you create a website that's very specific to a particular CPA offer, it could go to waste if the CPA offer is taken down. So I recommend that you create websites for broad markets. And what I mean by broad markets is like markets like dating or credit report or credit repair, because there's multiple CPA offers out there for these markets, so that if one offer does go down, you can quickly switch out your redirect links on your websites to another offer in that particular market, and that way you're not losing any of the free traffic that's flowing into your website if one CPA offer goes. Now, with that being said, I'm gonna reiterate this again, okay? Especially when it comes to making money with CPA marketing, because obviously you're in this course because you want to learn about CPA marketing. Even though all of the traffic methods that I do talk about in this course can be applied elsewhere, when it comes to CPA marketing, I don't personally know of any major CPA players who have made money with free traffic. Okay, all the major CPA players, and I'm talking about the guys who generally do over $1,000 a day, $5,000, $10,000, as much as $50,000 to $100,000 a day. None of it comes from free traffic, and the reason for that is because free traffic is simply not scalable enough the way paid traffic is. Okay, that's one thing I want you to remember. You simply cannot scale up free traffic the way that you can scale up with paid traffic. And if you look at a lot of these markets in the past, such as especially in the dieting area, such as the acai market, the resveratrol market, the colon cleanse market, all of these markets became popular. It's all due to the credit of paid traffic. It didn't come from free organic traffic or mentions on blogs and stuff like that. It came from all the major traffic that came from the major players who paid for this traffic, okay? Because it simply would not have been, the site never would have made the radar with free traffic, because it's the paid guys who made it scalable. So just keep that in mind when it comes to CPA marketing. I mean, for some of you who just only want to make $250 to $500 a month, then yeah, go out and build a website, and it's doable with CPA marketing. But if you're in this CPA marketing game to make big bucks, such as $250 to $500 a day, then SEO traffic shouldn't be your main focus. It can be a secondary focus, but paid traffic should be your main focus. Now, search market share. I mean, as of this recording, we're in June 2012, but this is as of last month, May 2012. You can see who the major players of the search market are. Google has leaped ahead of the competition. They control 81% of the market share. So that being said, all of your SEO marketing or focus should be focused on Google, okay? Because Google does control the vast majority, as you can see here, of the market share. Yahoo is at 7.5%. Bing is at 8.5%. And basically, Bing and Yahoo are both powered by the same search results. So if you add them together, they're roughly controlled by they roughly control 17%, or sorry, 16% of the market, and the remainder other search engines such as Ask.com and smaller ones. Now, when it comes to keyword research, you basically need to determine what keywords that you would like to rank for. Okay, and the best bet is basically keywords with high searches and low competition. Okay, you don't want to be building a website around keywords that generally don't get a lot of search volume. Okay, because most of the people who obviously search these search engines, it starts with a keyword search right in the search form. So you want to make sure that you're targeting keywords that have a lot of high searches. Now, with that being said, you don't want to get into a extremely competitive market, because extremely competitive markets are hard to break. So you want to go with high searches and low competition, because this will go a long way towards helping you get higher rankings for your websites, so that you get more traffic and obviously more CPA commissions. Now, if you've done paid traffic or you're running concurrent campaigns, one with trying to build up with free traffic, one with paid traffic, always go back to your paid traffic campaign and find out what were the keywords that were converting, okay? Because it's generally these keywords that you would want to build an SEO campaign around, because they've been proven to work. I mean, you've sent paid traffic through these keywords, you've determined what keywords are converting for whatever offer that you're promoting, so it only makes logical sense that you would build a website based on those particular keywords. So, I mean, that's a wealth of information that you can get from paid traffic, and I know for a fact that most of these guys who are serious about building free SEO websites and traffic, the first thing that they'll do, is actually run a paid traffic campaign, so they can see which keywords are the ones that convert. They do it simply for data analysis and data gathering. And once they have enough data, they'll stop the paid traffic campaign and they'll say, okay, well, hey, listen, we've gone through the data. These are the top 10 keywords that we know convert for this particular campaign. So let's build a whole website around this and get a whole bunch of free traffic. And that's kind of the route that you should be following as far as building a website. I don't suggest that you just go in blindly and just randomly pick a bunch of keywords to rank for. There has to be some sort of process where you know what keywords are converting for that particular market, so that you can build a website around those keywords. Now, there's two major factors that you should consider before building your website, and I look at these factors. Basically, one is on-page factors, and the second is off-page factors, and I'll talk about these in a little bit more in detail. But you can see here that the on-page factors generally account for maybe about 20% of the results of the ranking of your page, and the off-page factors generally result in 80% of the ranking of your website. So when you're looking at something like this, it only makes sense that 80% of your time should be concentrated on the off-page factors, where 20% of the time should be concentrated on the on-page factors. And with that being said, on the previous slide, I did mention to you that Google controls 81% of the market share. So really, it's in your best interest to actually go through Google's Webmaster Guidelines, and you can do that by simply searching Google Webmaster Guidelines for building a site, and really understand how they recommend that you build a website. Because if Google controls 80% of the market, you should be basically building your websites so that they're Google friendly, so that you can get the good rankings in Google. So that should be your first step, and then worry about Bing and Yahoo a little bit later. So basically, building a website for Google will go a long way towards helping you get a lot of free traffic. Now let's talk about the on-page factors. And I remember way back in the day, way back when I first started online in 1977, on-page factors basically ruled. They were what powered the results, the search engine results on places like InfoSeek, Alta Vista, and all of these websites. So it was as simple as designing a very good meta title for your website, a meta keyword, stuffing the meta keywords with your most relevant keywords, and sorry, that should say, the third one should say meta description. Basically putting in your description, a good description of what your website was all about. And that's really all you needed to get a decent ranking on the early search engines. And I mean, they still have an impact on the ranking of your website, just not as much. But you do want to still have an enticing title and an enticing description, because for some of these search engines, that's the first thing that they do pull. They do pull the title and the description as you're listing in the results. So obviously, you want to create something that compels people to click on your listing. The other on-page factor that has an influence on your ranking is the keyword density on the page. I mean, there's a certain amount of density that your relevant keywords should appear on your website. You don't want to overdo it, because then your page might seem a little bit spammy, and you might get your page de-indexed or de-ranked on the website. So there has to be an optimal amount of keywords on your website. And all these topics that, I mean, I don't want to go into too much detail about. These are all the topics that you can kind of Google about to figure out how much keyword density that you should be having on your website. I mean, it varies from search engine to search engine. And I have found, just in my limited SEO experience, that having the keyword in your domain name helps immensely. It really, really goes a long way towards helping you get into the top 10 of Google. I mean, it's not absolutely necessary, but I have found that I can get certain domains ranked on the first page of Google even without any backlinks, by simply following these on-page factors and having the keywords right in the domain name. So you definitely want to consider that, and I'll show you an example of how that's worked. Some of the other on-page factors that Google does look for, I mean, if you have a phone number on the Contact Us page, this also increases your ranking with Google, because Google likes to see corporate type websites. They don't want to see affiliate ghetto style websites. Okay, even though those are the ones that best convert for CPA offers. They want to see professional looking websites that have things such as a privacy policy, a contact us link, a terms and conditions, a disclaimer, because all of these things show that Google sees this as giving your users a good user experience, that you're easily able to be contacted. You have a disclaimer, a privacy policy. All of these things are very, very important to Google, so it's highly recommended that you include those. Even a sitemap helps Google index your website properly, so you might want to consider putting that. And I mean, if you're using or building a WordPress website, and I'll talk about that in this presentation, there are plugins that will automatically create Google-friendly sitemaps for you, so it makes it easier for Google to index your website. Also, putting multimedia on websites increases your web rank. And what I mean by multimedia, I mean by things such as videos, and especially YouTube videos, because Google does own YouTube. And I've had friends who have tested this, and they have determined that putting YouTube videos or embedding YouTube videos on certain web pages will increase the rankings in the search engines, because Google looks at that as content. They look at that as value-added content, and that goes a long way towards helping increase your ranking. The other thing is the engagement of the user. This increases your ranking. What I mean by engagement of users is that if you have people come to your website and they're leaving after 3 seconds, this is going to hurt you in the rankings. Google does determine or tries to figure out how long people are sitting on your website. And if they're hitting the back button after 3 seconds, that means that they've gone to your website, they've pretty much figured out that it's not relevant, and they've hit the back button. And Google does take that into consideration when it comes to their relevancy ranking on how relevant your website is. Because if your website was relevant, people should be sticking around your website for a longer period of time. Just in my opinion, it's completely up to you. I don't recommend anybody ever use Google Analytics for their website, because you're basically telling Google all of the information about your website. And if your website is not what Google is looking for, and you're supplying Google with information such as bounce rates, engagement time on your website, you're basically handing it to them on a gold platter. That could actually hurt you. I recommend using a free script called Piwik. If you go to piwik.org, you can get an almost identical script to Google Analytics that you can install on your server. It's very, very easy to get going. In that way, at least your stats are harbored from Google, and Google doesn't see that. So that's just my suggestion. I mean, if you do feel comfortable using Google Analytics to analyze what keywords are bringing you in your search volume, then by all means go ahead. But I recommend using Piwik to keep your data private. Now, also putting headings on your pages does add to the relevance. Google does look at H1 tags, H2 tags, H3 tags. So if you can put relevant keywords within these tags, that will also go a long way towards helping you with your on-page factors. Now let's talk about the site structure of your website. And this is something that I alluded to about a few slides ago. And what I suggested was that you follow a basic silo structure to please Google. And what I mean by a silo structure, I mean when you think of a silo, you think of a barn. That holds, or a silo type barn that holds a lot of hay. And that's basically what this is kind of like, is that if you look at your website as a number of different silos that holds, and think of those silos as different categories or different themes on your website. Google likes to see that. They like to see that your website is structured into themes. So I mean, if you're building a website, let's say on the wedding market, you might have one category on wedding dresses, another category on wedding flowers, another category on wedding favors. This is the stuff that Google likes to see, because they like to see websites that are themed and that have pages that are even deeper into the website. So basically, deep linked type pages. Okay. Now, what I recommend is that you place these silos on a website into their own directories or their own categories. And I've built websites within a few hours, and I've had my assistants build websites within a few hours by simply pulling articles from usingarticles.com. And there's a ton of places where you can get free articles like goarticles.com. And when you're building a website, this is probably the fastest way to do it initially. I mean, before you go out and you start building some original content on your website, if you ever want any sort of longevity in the free search engine game. But if you just want to get a website up and running quickly and at least get into the search engines, then you can use articles from places like usingarticles.com. All you have to do is make sure that you do follow the requirements, such as including the author's name and links, and a box at the end of the article. Now, there's been a huge myth going around about the duplicate content rule, and that is that if you do have duplicate content, meaning that you have the same content on your website as another website, that you're going to get de-indexed or thrown off the website. So this is completely unfounded. Okay, I mean, basically, from what I've been told by my SEO experts and friends, is that duplicate content rule is a myth. Because if that's the case, places like easingarticles.com would not even be indexed in Google. I mean, yeah, they have been hurt from the Panda and the Penguin update. So there is a little bit now. Google is kind of looking a little bit at duplicate content, but the fact that you'll get de-indexed for having duplicate content or banned from Google is a complete myth. Okay, I mean, eventually what you want to do is you want to go and create your own original content, and what I recommend is you go to a place like iWriter.com or go to elance.com, then outsource your article writing, so that way you have at least original articles on your website. Now, what I mentioned earlier before was that you always, to please Google, you got to include a contact us link, a privacy policy, a disclaimer, a sitemap, and about us link. Okay, if you don't have it on your website, I can guarantee you Google will never give you a favorable ranking on your website. So make sure that you do include these links somehow on your website. Now I'm just going to show you an example of a silo structured website. Okay, this is a static HTML website. And basically this is revolving around the topic of a Rachel Ray CPA offer. Okay, I don't run this website anymore. These are one of the mistakes that I made, is that you never ever build a website to revolve around a certain offer, because as soon as this offer goes down, which it has, then all the traffic goes nowhere if I can't find a Rachel Ray CPA offer that basically is relevant to this. Now you can see that I'm just kind of pushing it towards a sweepstakes offer right here. But just to kind of show you how I've broken down this website, you can see here, these are my silos right here. I've broken it down into recipe articles, cooking articles, Food Network articles, and Rachel Ray articles. And I don't do I didn't write any of the articles. All the articles came from easingarticles.com, and you can see here I've included the author's resource box here. I've included the author's name, and these are all the different silos. A whole bunch of Food Network articles, a bunch of Rachel Ray articles, basically built down into a silo. You can see here, if I go back to the let's just go back to the home page here. I've included a contact us link, an about us link, and what we're all about, and a privacy policy link. These are all the things that the major search engines want to see, and they want to look at in order to so that you can please the websites. And what I've done is I've also included outbound links to the relevant Rachel Ray websites. I've included inbound links. For example, I've created Squidoo lenses. These are the only inbound links that are coming to this website, because I found that Squidoo goes a long way towards helping you increase the rankings for your free SEO sites. And I'll talk about Squidoo in a few minutes. And so I've created Squidoo lenses that point back to this particular domain in order to get a higher ranking. So this is basically an example of a silo structured website using HTML. Now I'm just going to kind of take you to my blog to show you how it's also done in WordPress format. Now this is simply a WordPress blog, but you can see here in WordPress, and the reason why I recommend that you go WordPress is you can really quickly create categories, and these are basically like the silos. I mean, here we got CPA marketing category, lists all the articles on CPA marketing. You have internet marketing articles, lists all the articles on internet marketing. So this makes it a lot easier if you're not comfortable with doing any sort of HTML editing. This will go a long way towards helping, because Google loves WordPress. They love WordPress blogs, and I mean, you don't necessarily have to run it in a blog format. I mean, WordPress has advanced dramatically. They've advanced dramatically as far as the plugins are concerned, and you can actually create websites that don't even look like a blog, yet have the same structure that Google would like to see. So those are just an example of silo structured websites. Now you can go to WordPress.org and download the latest version of WordPress. It is free, which makes that a huge bonus. And you can literally have a website up and running in about 5 minutes after installing WordPress. And like I mentioned before, there are thousands of plugins to enhance your blog and not even make it look like a blog. You can make it look like a website, make it much easier. There's plugins and themes that can make it look like a normal website, and adding content to the website is very, very easy. And there's even plugins that will help increase your SEO rankings. They will help optimize your posts and your pages so that they get better SEO rankings. Now let's talk about the off-page factors. I mean, the off-page factors, they basically they make up 80% of the 80% of the ranking of your website. Okay. Now, when it comes to off-page factors, it's all about backlinks. Okay. Backlinks mean everything. Okay. And if you've done any SEO marketing, you know that most people, what they go out, they do is they work on getting backlinks. And I mean, that worked for a long time very, very well in the past. But Google has now started cracking down on that because people were simply going out and getting backlinks from any conceivable website they could get. And these could have been websites that were really poorly designed. They could have been link farms. They could have been link networks. And Google now has the technology to determine where these links are coming from. So if you're getting links that are coming from, let's say, a link farm or a link network that's been banned, chances are that's going to also go a long way towards bringing your website down. So what you want to do is, when it comes to building natural backlinks, number one, you don't want to go out and build 500 backlinks in one night, okay? Because this looks unnatural. Google wants to see natural backlinking. I mean, it should go slowly. I mean, one night you might get one backlink, the next night two, maybe 3 days later you get four. This is something that looks natural to Google. I know that there's a tendency to get excited and want to go out and get 500 backlinks. And I know there's a lot of services out there that advertise that, oh, we'll get you 500 backlinks from quality websites for $50. This could in fact hurt your website and hurt your chances of ever getting ranked in Google. You want to make sure it looks natural because that's the way Google looks at it. Okay. Now, with that being said, you also want to make sure that you get backlinks from authority-related websites, because this carries a lot of weight. I mean, Google doesn't simply look at how many backlinks that you have. They actually look at the quality of the backlink. I mean, if you're getting backlinks from a bunch of EDU websites, that's going to have a lot more weight than if you're getting backlinks from a bunch of .com websites, because .edu or .org websites they seem to have a lot more authority than .com websites. So if you can go out and you can get backlinks from authority sites, then that'll go a long way towards helping the rankings of your website. And I already talked about how to make it look much more natural. Now, when it comes to getting backlinks, I feel that one of the best methods of ever getting backlinks to your website is to create really good, compelling content. Really good, compelling content. I know that takes a little bit of work, but in the long run, it's going to pay dividends for you. Number one, when you create good, compelling content, you're going to get return visitors. Okay. Now, when it comes to off-page factors and ranking, people are going to naturally want to link back to really good content. Okay. And if you do that, people will start linking back to you, and they will start linking back to your content. And in fact, when you're writing specific content on your website that could be categorized, they will end up not just linking to your homepage, they'll end up linking directly to that article. And what this is called is deep linking. Okay, Google does look at the links, where they're coming into your website, how deep they're going, because if you have a lot of websites that are deep linking, what I mean by deep linking is that they're not simply linking to your homepage, they're actually linking to web pages that are on your domain, that are maybe deep within a category. Google will look at this and they'll say, well, wow, this is a really content-rich website, because they got websites or third-party links pointing to deep pages into their website. And this also makes it look natural, especially, I mean, you don't want to go out and get 1,000 backlinks straight to your homepage. That does not look natural. Okay, that does not look natural at all. You want all sorts of links. You want links to the homepage. You want links to specific categories. You want links to specific pages on your website. This is all the stuff that looks natural to Google, and will help you with your off-page factors. Now, if you're going to go out and you are going to go out and get backlinks, you're going to want to make sure that the anchor text should contain the keywords that you want to rank for. Because the way Google looks at backlinks, they look at the text that was linked to your website with. Because if people are constantly linking to your website with a particular keyword or keyword phrase, Google automatically thinks, well, that must be what your website is relevant for. And that will help get your ranked higher. Okay. Now, you want to mix your anchor text for a natural look. I mean, if you're promoting wedding favors or a wedding website, you don't want all your backlinks to simply be the word wedding. You want to mix it up with like wedding cakes, wedding favors, wedding photos, how to have a cheap wedding, discount wedding, Las Vegas wedding. Because when you have a variety of different anchor text, this is something that also looks natural. And I already talked about backlinks from government and EDU sites. This is some serious link juice and can boost your rankings when you get authority links from these type of websites. Okay. Now, link trading can add to your rank, but usually one-way backlinks far outweigh two-way backlinks. I mean, Google can see that if you're linking to a website and they're linking back to you, that there is an exchange of links. But if Google sees a website that is linking back to you and you're not linking back to that website, in some cases that will go a long way towards helping your ranking because it's simply a one-way backlink rather than a link exchange between two websites for the purposes of increasing rankings. Now, let's talk about social media 2.0 websites for backlinks. The first place that I go to that I know helps immensely in the rankings of my websites is Squidoo. And the reason for that is because Google loves Squidoo. And if you can build what they call on Squidoo is they call it lenses. If you can build a lens that points back to your website that offers value to the prospect, that can really help your rankings, because like I said, Google does give a weight to a lot of these Squidoo lenses, and if you can get a backlink from a Squidoo lens to your website, that will help your ranking. Now, when it comes to building a lens on Squidoo, don't go off to Squidoo and just spam their service by creating a whole bunch of poorly structured lenses and pointing them back to your website. You want to go to places like Squidoo and Hub Pages, which is listed below, and create good quality content. Because a lot of these social websites also have a huge amount of traffic, and if you can get your website or your lens ranked, or your hub ranked high in any of these services, you'll also benefit from the traffic within those communities. And like I said, compelling content and good content always has a tendency to get ranked higher on the search engine. So not only will you get a backlink from the Squidoo lens, believe it or not, I've gotten even my Squidoo lens is ranked in the top 10 of Google and Bing because I went out and created a good quality lens that ended up not only boosting up my original website that I was trying to boost it up for, but also ended up boosting the Squidoo lens into the top 10. There's also YouTube. YouTube.com is owned by Google, and I highly recommend that in the bonus section that you do listen to the presentation that I did with Andy Jenkins. Andy is a YouTube specialist or a video specialist guy, so he'll talk a little bit about how YouTube can help your particular rankings. And I talk about YouTube when I talk about, in the next module, when I talk about social media, and how creating a backlink right within your video description can also, this is something that can also boost the rankings of your website. And if you can create a compelling video, not only will that drive free traffic back to your website, it'll also create a valuable backlink back to your website. And then there's other social websites such as Propeller.com, Delicious.com, Pinterest.com, and literally dozens and dozens of social media websites that if you can create compelling content on and backlink back to your website, that will go a long way towards helping your rankings in the search engines. Now let's talk about a blog and forum strategy, because this is probably the best route to go as far as building some sort of relevance to your website. Now, when you build your website for a particular CPA market, it's your main website. What you will call is your money website. Okay, this is called your money website because this is where people are going to go and they're going to fill out your CPA offers. Okay. Now, if you kind of build other blogs or other websites that are kind of your secondary websites that point back to your blog or your main money site, this will help boost up the rankings of your money site. Okay. Now, what you also want to do is you want to go to other people's blogs too, and you want to place comments on relevant popular blogs with a link back to your website. If you've ever commented on somebody's blog, you'll soon realize that what you're asked for is your name, your email address, and usually your website. And what that ends up doing is it ends up highlighting your name under or hyperlinking your name to your website. So this can create a backlink to your website. And you'll notice sometimes, and especially if you've set up a blog, you've had spammers come to your blog and try to post a comment. What most of these guys will do is they'll post their comment using, and instead of putting their name, they'll put in the relevant keyword to try to point that back to their particular website. I mean, I generally delete this, and I don't recommend that you do it, but that is a way of getting a relevant link back to your website. Another place to go other than other people's popular blogs is to go to forums. Go to relevant forums and place forum posts in relevant in these forums, and have a link to your website in your forum signature. Most of these forums do allow you to have a signature where you can link back to your particular website. And if you can hyperlink your most relevant keywords in that forum signature back to your website, this will create a link with that anchor text that will point back to your website, and once again increase the ranking of your website. Now, just kind of wrapping up this particular module, this is a great blog post that I want you to visit. It's by Aaron Wall, and he's an SEO expert, and he's been well known in the SEO marketing industry for the last decade. He wrote a blog post called 101 Ways to Build Link Popularity. Because like I told you, the 80% of the success of your website will be based on the off-page factors. And if you can build any sort of link popularity to your website, but that's where your focus should be on. I mean, you can make your website as pretty as possible, but to have an overall impact on your website, you really got to work on the off-page factors. So go to this blog post. It's called 101 Ways to Build Link Popularity. And what will happen is it'll take you to his particular website right here. And he covers 101 different ways to build different link popularities that I possibly couldn't cover in this particular module, because this could cover a whole day's. And as far as off-page factors, this is the article that I would spend some time reading and going over, because this is probably will be enough to help you get ranked for the keywords that you want to get ranked for. So I mean, this basically wraps up the SEO module. I mean, like I said before, you can still get a considerable amount of free traffic, but as far as building your CPA marketing business, I wouldn't focus it around free SEO traffic, because it's, like I mentioned, it's so unpredictable. I mean, you don't know what Google wants to do the next day. It's not as predictable as paid traffic is, but it can be a very lucrative way of building traffic to CPA offers, because obviously it's free. I mean, you can't beat free traffic. So that basically wraps up this particular module. I suggest now that you move on to Module 5, where I do cover social media marketing to CPA offers.